Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Average Joe Dividends YouTube channel. It's Monday, so you know what that means. It's time to buy some more dividend paying stocks. If you've been following this journey, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe so that you do not miss future videos. Also, please click the like button to help grow this channel and get the word out on dividend growth investing. Getting paid just for owning stocks. This is what dividend growth investing is all about. This is my weekly buy video, and my current strategy is to deposit $100 of my own money per week and let the portfolio do the heavy lifting for me going forward. All dividends received will be reinvested back into that stock from which it was received. My goal is to put this money to work for me in the long term to build a growing and reliable income stream. I'm a long-term buy and hold investor who focuses primarily on individual blue chip stocks as well as ETFs and CEFs. What we're looking at right now is my taxable M1 stock brokerage account, my Average Joe Dividends portfolio. This is about 15% of my net worth, and most of it consists of the ETF SCHD, but I do have a lot of individual holdings, over 50 of those. But again, I have a big base built in S&P ETF like VOO, and also a total stock market ETF VTI. Those are both from Vanguard. So just looking at the overall performance of the last year, you can see the portfolio has dipped below the $200,000 mark several times, with the recent low coming in late October, but since then we've really gone on a tear upwards and reaching all-time new highs. So the portfolio is over $235,000, which is crazy. I know when we're in these times when the market's going down, it's really hard to make yourself buy things because you don't know if it's just going to go down. And that's the worst feeling in the world, is when you buy stock and it just keeps going down. But trust me, if you're invested for something in the long term and it's going to go up in the long term, of course we don't know, there's no guarantees, but you can see what happens though over time. Of course, recoveries, we don't know how long those are going to take, but in this case it's been a pretty short one from the end of October up until now. So without further ado, let's go ahead and we'll take a look at what I bought. We'll go to the activity log. You can see my $100 deposit. There were 6 buys, and one of those buys was a dividend drip. That's going to be American Express. That dividend came in over the weekend, and then what I did was I picked 5 other stocks to put $20 into. And of course, what I'm picking is not investment advice. This is just what I think is on sale or something I just want to build up within my portfolio. So first up, I picked Avista. Avista has been going down a lot, like a lot of other energy sector stocks, like Black Hills, which is in there too. So Avista, $20. American Express, this was the dividend drip, $3.75. O'Realty has been struggling, and a lot of that has to do with the interest rates. But I think over time, O'Realty is going to go back up. I think it's going to get back into the 70s. For a share price, but that could take several years, so why not buy it while it's in the 50s? And Black Hills, $20 there. Like I said before, kind of like a Vista, it's energy sector stock, and it's been struggling mightily, but Black Hills just raised their dividend by 4%, so the income is going up, and their dividend percentage right now is over 5%, I believe. So added $20 there. And then Kroger, this one's been pretty flat for me, but they do give generous dividend increases. I'm expecting one, I think, in May or June, and we'll see if they do like that 10-12% like they've been doing. And Home Depot, they've been doing okay, but I decided to kind of build up that one before their dividend raise coming up. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to bounce over to a sheet where I track all of my stocks, and I'll leave a link below. Also, I'll link below to my pies, and what are contained within each of the slices. You can see the ETFs take up the majority of my pie. And as I alluded to below, ETFs are what most of my money is into. As you can see, SCHD is the largest of that slice. When you look at the holdings, and it's going to sort everything from the largest holding, you can see that SCHD is the largest holding within here. And again, this total portfolio is only 15% of my net worth. So I'll get more into that and show you what else I'm invested in as well. But here's that Google Docs spreadsheet. And the reason I'm going to show this is what we're going to do is we're going to update this sheet to show the new shares that were added and what that's going to do to my dividend income. But I just want to show you the sheet, and I'll leave a link below so you can copy it and you can put your own dividend stocks in here too. It tracks it real time, and what it does is it just uses a simple Google Finance function to pull the share price. And when I do a copy and paste from M1, which I'm going to do momentarily, it's going to update my cost basis as well as the number of shares. You can see there's a VLOOKUP. We're going to paste into the M1 data tab over here. We're going to paste this into this column shortly, and it's going to update the shares in my cost basis. But this tracks, you can see even the dividend that is paid per share. I have SCHD highlighted in purple because its dividend is variable by each quarter. It changes, and usually March is the lowest dividend that SCHD pays, so I'm expecting a lower dividend than this 0.742. I'm expecting somewhere in the low to mid 60s actually. We'll see. We won't know until they announce it. That's one thing I don't like about SCHD is the variability of the dividend. We have something like a Home Depot. We know it's going to be this, if not higher, and Home Depot is going to be announcing a dividend increase in February. That's what this column is here. It's going to show the month that it's likely to increase its dividend. And SCHD, historically December has been their big month, but when they announce it in March, June is actually going to be a higher, so it's going to raise it in June for SCHD. And I'll walk over the sheet just a little bit more, walk you through it a little bit more. You can see this is the current yield of each position, yield on my cost. You can see since I'm ahead in SCHD, my yield on cost is higher than if you were to buy new shares today. Here's the pay date, very important because I want to know when I'm getting paid and I want to know how much I'm getting paid. So you can see here I'm tracking what I've been paid so far in the month of February, and so far I've received a sum total of $82.42 in dividends, and these were just paid into my account for doing absolutely nothing more than holding shares of these companies. Air Products, I have them highlighted in yellow. I decided to remove them and just move on with this one. I didn't really like their dividend increase in January of 1%. I know they're struggling right now. They could improve down the road, but I just thought to simplify my portfolio, reduce the position, and put it somewhere else where I think it may do better. But we can see tomorrow, I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning, I'm going to get a dividend from Air Products. It's going to be in the $3 to $4 range, and I'll put that in there and update it accordingly. But you can see all the dividends I'm expecting so far in February. And then the big one, BST, is going to hit. That's going to be $453.17. So it's always nice at the end of the month. I just get that gigantic dividend from BST, and I keep rolling it in, and it just this pot just keeps growing larger and larger. I'm going to scroll down and show you what else this tracks. You can see total market value, my cost basis. Here's my gain or loss in the portfolio. Here's the average yield of the portfolio, average yield on my cost. Here is what the quarterly income is of this portfolio. Since I have a few monthly payers, I have to add them in twice. That's this math, and that's this array right here. BST and O are monthly payers, and so I have to add this in. If I just add in this column, it's going to miss those monthly pairs. It's going to miss 2 months of O and BST, so I have to have that math of the 465.10 and add that in 2 more times to get my quarterly income. And I have it also broken down by monthly, So I'm at a even $923 per month is what this portfolio averages in income because it's quarterly. An annual over $11,000 this portfolio is pulling in. You can see I have a strategy here and my 2024 goals, and I have a couple links in here for dividend raises, dividend declarations. Here's where I look up to see what the new dividends are and what the dividend pay dates are, and I add 1 day because M1 has a 1-day delay. And what we're going to do next is we're going to update this sheet, and it's going to update the monthly, quarterly, and annual cash flow average. And we're at an even $923. And so the $100 deposit, remember the 5 buys, and the American Express dividend drip, it's going to probably increase my income by 20 to 25 cents ish, right around there. We'll see. But it's a very small deposit I did. And this is just one thing we're doing. So I'm going to go over to this tab here, the monthly average dividend tracking. Anytime there's a raise in a dividend or a reduction in dividend, I track it. You can see I started doing this on December 7th, 2022, and I've been tracking this like a ledger. And you can see what that did to my monthly income. But SCHD is also in March, they've lowered their dividend as well. And we can see when SCHD announced their lower dividend last year, this is what it did to my monthly income, but it's since gone up. And SCHD overall, when you count all 4 quarters, SCHD had a increase in its dividend. Let me show you really quick. That's what this is here, tracking the 2022 Q1 through Q4 dividends. You can see there was a big jump in Q4 from 70 cents to 74 cents. We'll see how 2024 tracks. That's where I'm kind of picking up maybe the low to mid 60s here. There was a about 8-cent jump from year 2022 to 2023. We'll see if there's an 8-cent jump here to 2024. I'm not counting on it. We'll see. But overall, there's almost a 4% gain in the total dividend for SCHD, which is historically lower. A lot of people were doing videos showing how if you invested in SCHD over decades, and one of their assumptions was like a 10% year-over-year dividend increase, and that's not happening. I'm not counting on it. Probably 3 to 5% is more safe. So that's what I want to show you right there. We'll go back to the monthly average dividends tracking sheet. We're going to get down to today's dates, and I filled in the portion with a $100 deposit and American Express drip. You can see things like Hershey's increased their dividend just on the 8th. Avista also did a 3.3% dividend increase. That was one of the positions I bought from. And you can see what that did. I mean, they're modest, and you can see that 77 cents, 34 cents, and a penny. But over time, I'm telling you, these little changes to my monthly income, it produces a big number, as you can see here at 923. And you can see every couple days there's something going on with a dividend increase, a little deposit, and things like that. So let's go ahead and update this sheet real quick. We're going to go back to the M1 data tab. We're going to paste in that information, and I'm at the holdings tab at M1. So if you use M1, it's a really easy way to just copy and paste this in. So I'm going to grab all the data of all the positions from highest to lowest. Looks like I missed that 9 there. Let's try that again. Got a little bit trigger happy on that. Back to holdings. You can see there's 57 positions in the portfolio. I may reduce a couple more of them, but for me, it's a hobby. I like tracking all this. Okay, this time I got all the data. Copy. And over here, I'm going to paste everything into the A column. And all it's going to do is, it's really messy how it puts everything in the A column for many, many cells. But what I do is I align the shares and the cost basis over here. You can see it does like a repeating. It repeats the pattern for shares and cost basis on this column. So I'm able to extract the shares and the cost, line it up to each of these positions like SCHD, BST, and pull the share and cost basis information with a VLOOKUP back in the dividend portfolio tab. Remember over here, this is where it's getting that. It's pulling that with the VLOOKUP. So we're going to paste in the new M1 data, paste special. Remember, we're at even 923 for the monthly data, or actually the monthly average income. And we'll see if this updates. And we'll go back to the dividend portfolio tab. If it's still at 923, it hasn't updated. But it has. Okay, so I was wrong. It added an additional 35 cents of monthly income. Of course, the quarterly and annual went up as well. So we'll put that 923.35 over there. And for me, I track the monthly. I think it's really important because it shows progress. And even little things like this, I love to see progress because it keeps me focused on contributing to this portfolio and believing in it by seeing this progress all the time, how my average monthly income keeps going up. But again, I know in March it's going to temporarily drop with SCHD because I know they're not going to match that 74-cent dividend, so it's going to drop this, but it's going to recover and some through June, September, and especially in December when SCHD does their last dividend announcement. So I think the last thing I'm going to show you, the last couple things, I've showed you what I did to my monthly cash flow average and increased it there. Let's take a look at my dividend tracking spreadsheet. I've been doing these videos since January 2021, and we can see the portfolio value there. It's just steadily gone up, and it really went up with some huge deposits starting in September 2022. I had equity in a home I no longer own. I was deploying $10,000 per week to put that $150,000 to work for me. And I decided I'm going to put it into this portfolio, and it's really paid dividends in more ways than one, and also in stock appreciation as well. So we can see it's going over the $200,000 mark, and you can see the dividends paid, how my first full month of dividends, January 2021, a modest $37, but you got to start somewhere. Even if you have $1,000 portfolio, it's going to be small, but that's great because just keep at it. It's going to keep going up and up. And we can see here last month, January, $611.08. That's what was paid to me from this portfolio. We can compare it to last year. It paid me $532. So we will see in February 2023, it was almost $500. We'll see. I think it's going to be over $600 this year. You can see just the progress. I am tracking the quarterly income as well. You can see the quarter-on-quarter percent increase, the dollar increase. Annual dividends per year wasn't even at 1,000 in 2021, almost 3,000 in 2022, over $10,000 in 2023. We'll see where we land in 2024. You can see the average monthly dividends carried over here, and just in the month alone of February, I've increased my monthly dividends by $6.04. You can see a 0.66% overall increase in my average monthly dividend. You can see the annual dividend over that $11,000 mark. And here's the annual increase I've done so far. The portfolio, the 7248. And we're in week 2, so I've made $200 of deposits into the portfolio. And before we go and end this video, I'm just going to jump into my total net worth. I know some people question why I have so many positions in the portfolio, and here's why. It's because I'm so heavily weighted in Vanguard ETFs, as well as a Fidelity S&P 500 index as well. You can see I'm in international bonds. I'm in total stock market, total international stock market. And I have an IRA, I have a small Roth account. Here's a taxable account over at Vanguard. Here's my current employer. I've only been with them for a few years. You can see I have a little bit of bonds, but it's mostly an S&P 500 index. And this is just looks like a money market account there. And then M1, I also have an M1 IRA as well that's over $600,000. You can see what I'm in VU, VTI, SCHD, as well as BST for income. And BST has been doing great. You can see, I'm going to show you really quick how this one's return for me, a 23, almost 24% return on this, and it's beaten the returns of SCHD handily, as far because I started doing the larger deposits for BST and SCHD, and you can see SCHD I'm just at 11% gain. So far BST is just trounced, and you can see what the dividend yield is, but I don't know if that's sustainable. We'll see. But every month I get a huge paycheck, and I just keep on contributing back into BST, and it just keeps snowballing that. So let's take a look at my total worth, adding up everything I've got from Vanguard, from my T Rowe 401k, M1, IRA, as well as the taxable brokerage account, which we went into depth on that. And then as far as cash on hand, small checking savings account, I recently purchased a home, so I have some home equity. You can see my net worth. I am north of $1.5 million right now. But of course, since I'm so heavily invested in stocks, that could really go much higher, or I could expect a 50% cut in my net worth as well. But that's part of the game. You have to kind of figure that in. If you own stocks, even if it's a well-diversified ETF like a VTI, VTSAX, something like that, or a VU, just expect a 10%, 20%, 30% cut. Sometimes that happens. We go through those, but now we're at all-time highs. But what happens though is the stock market reaches all-time highs, and it reaches new all-time highs as well. When those happen, nobody can ever predict. But that's what I want to show you, was what I bought, and we'll just do a quick review of those 5 companies, and then we'll wrap this one up. It's just 5 that I selected. American Express was a dividend drip. So Avista, O Realty, Black Hills, Kroger, and the Home Depot. So let me know in the comments below what you're going to invest in this week. And everyone, take care. Thanks for sticking to the end. If you got value from this video, please click the like button. Also subscribe so that you do not miss future videos. Everyone, take care, and everyone have a great week.